Hello and welcome to the Tuesday Total Soccer Show. I am Daryl Grove and I'm joined by a man who can get an awful lot done in 17 minutes. His name is Taylor Rockwell. Hello.
Hey, buddy. I can get an awful lot done in 17 minutes. I can get an awful lot done in about 30 minutes, which is about how long do we have to record this show.
Oh, because we have to head out for street soccer practice, right?
Yes.
But we have just enough time to talk about Borussia Dortmund's 2-2 draw with Real Madrid in the Champions League with an almost assist from Christian Pulisic coming off the bench to have a foot in Andre Schürrle's equaliser. Right. We have just enough time to talk about Sam Allardyce parting ways with England, which I think is kind of code for fired.
I think you might put it the other way around. Yeah.
And we have just enough time to talk about the Total Soccer Show Scouting Network. Let's start with that game, though.
Okay.
Taylor, I've got to ask you, what is this sound?
I'm going to assume that's the Christian Pulisic klaxon that you can't turn off quickly. It's so excited about the hype, it won't even stop. Gotcha.
So you were the one tweeting from our account.
Yes.
That's the Christian Pulisic klaxon.
Yes, and then we need the Christian Pulisic questionable assist
Questionable
klaxon as well.
assist klaxon.
Because you're right, it's not an assist, but that's because it's kind of half cleared by Carvajal with his chest into the path of Andre Schürrle for the equalising goal.
John Ray tweeted us to say his app, he didn't say what his app was, credited Pulisic with the assist.
Well, that's my new favourite app.
MLS would credit him with the assist, right? Because if you're sort of involved in the build-up, you get it.
I don't know how that works if the other player's intervention cancels out the assist.
Because it came off the chest, right?
Right. So, but it's not like they're going to say Pulisic with an assist and then Carvajal with an assist. Like, you don't get an own goal assist, I don't think. It's either an own goal or nothing.
Well, there are a lot of weird goals in this game.
Yeah.
And let's put a pin in Christian Pulisic, because that seems to be the only thing that can stop him at the moment. Let's put a pin in that for a minute, and maybe let's go through these goals, because they're very odd, very interesting goals. I think a pretty entertaining game, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Regardless of Christian Pulisic's involvement.
I think 4 goals, I believe I'm correct in saying not one of them had an assist.
Oh, because they were all something odd happened.
Yes, exactly. So let's start with the first one, the first Madrid goal.
Yeah, so famously, Borussia Dortmund are big on the Gegenpress, which basically means the counter-press, which means when they lose the ball, then we get it back and then we attack them. This goal, which Ronaldo scores in the end,
I've written it down before you say it.
Okay, I believe it's a counter-press.
It is it's Madrid.
Hard to count the counter-presses.
It's Madrid countering Dortmund's counter of Madrid's counter of Dortmund's break. That's pretty much what happens. Dortmund break, they get dispossessed, they pressure Madrid, Madrid get dispossessed, Dortmund try to get numbers into the box to create something, they give the ball away, headed clear, beautiful ball by Modric, and Madrid are away and eventually score. So the idea is, with the counter-press is, you get it off the other team as they're breaking, and then you sort of got them on the back foot, but you push your numbers forward, right? That is what Dortmund did. They ended up with, I think, when they turned the ball over, they have 6 of their players in the Real Madrid box, right? Including the right back, Pulisic, and it's sort of his absence from the back four which causes all the trouble. Because you'll notice if you watch the goal, you can find the goal on Reddit or anywhere else, there's a giant gap for Toni Kroos to run into after he receives the ball from Benzema, and that's where Socrates would have been, the centre-back, but he's covering Pulisic. Right, exactly. And he's actually on the floor, right? Isn't he on his berth at some point? Yeah, I think there was maybe a problem with the field. Either it was overwatered or underwatered. Either way, you had players slipping. You had Benzema slip when he was kind of clean on goal in the first half. Yes, you did, And you had a couple Dortmund players slip in the second half, and then obviously this one with Socrates. Right. So I think there was maybe some field concerns, but it is also because Socrates is trying to slide across as fast as he can. Pulisic is racing back to try to cover. And it's a really quick little cut from Benzema, and then he squares to Kroos, and all of a sudden there are acres of space, and there are many Madrid players flying forward. There are, so on that right side, there's Cristiano Ronaldo, there's Gareth Bale, because he gets the another sort of assist, like it goes through Ginter's legs but bounces off both his calves, so maybe not an assist. And there's James Rodriguez. I want to credit Cristiano Ronaldo with, again, I feel like we have to keep underlining this, not being the selfish player that people say he is. Right. Yeah. Right? I mean, because that ball comes across and he maybe could try to intercept it and then try to get a shot off. He leaves it, right? I think maybe James shouts for it, but Ronaldo deliberately backs out of touching it, lets it go wide to James. I think he jumps forward out of touching it because it's a little bit behind him, and that's why I say he maybe could have put a heel on it and tried to flick it in front of him and then get a shot off. Oh, so you think maybe he's just thinking, I'm not in the ideal situation here. I could touch this ball, but why do that when Mr. Senor James Rodriguez is to my right? To play in Gareth Bale. And then it's a credit to Cristiano Ronaldo again, because then he tries to get that ball that James Rodriguez has played in for Gareth Bale. Because he thinks the pass might be for him, right? Then he realises it's for that Welsh dude. It's for that Welsh dude. Let him have it. And that Welsh dude rewards him by backheeling it But this is why there's no assist, because it goes off of...
It's Ginter.
Ginter, yeah. And
it does this on Ginter scarves.
Yeah, it goes through them calf legs and into the path of Ronaldo, who does a good job of finishing it to the far corner.
1-0 Real Madrid. And I know this game finishes 2-2. It is a good Real Madrid performance. It's a good away performance, especially if you have to go away without Casemiro, your first choice defensive midfielder, without Marcelo, your left back. You end up with Danilo, your second choice right back playing left back.
More on him later.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But first, we should talk about Dortmund's equalizer, which was kind of ridiculous.
This is the Keylor Navas punch.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So it's a Rafael Guerreiro free kick, right, for Dortmund from outside the box. He sort of bends it in, not too viciously, not too sharply.
Nope.
It looks for all the world like Keylor Navas, the Costa Rican keeper, can just catch it safely.
Yeah.
Instead, he tries to dive and punch. The punch is like off centre and ends up just like playing it into the back of Varane.
Yeah.
And it bounces off Varane. I'm not even sure if it goes over the line before Aubameyang gets to it.
I believe he is officially credited with the goal. I could
Varane
be
or
wrong.
Aubameyang?
I'm checking right now. Aubameyang is credited with the goal.
Yeah, because Varane would have been debited with the goal.
Yeah, he would not have been pleased either. And we've watched this a bunch of times, and it's worth noting, number one, that this is something that it seemed like Keylor Navas was doing as an intentional tactic. The Fox Soccer people or Fox Sports people highlighted it at their halftime show.
Yeah.
That even early on, he punches one wide when he maybe doesn't need to. Maybe he could have caught it.
Yeah.
And it just seems like that was, maybe he was told, don't risk it. We don't want any drops. We don't want anything to go wrong. But instead, it's a weird situation when that ball comes in, that free kick comes in. The idea usually, if you're punching clear on the move, that you're like at full extension and then you punch. And in this situation, it was almost like a U12 goalkeeper who's sort of like, I get to dive now. And so like he waited and waited and waited and then jumped to do it. And so he almost like punches it and then jumps. And because of that, he doesn't have that full extension. He doesn't have a lot of power behind it. And instead, he has the back of Varane's head / shoulder.
Because if you watch closely, he sort of catches it with, I think, like his, what would you call it? Your little finger and your ring finger?
Your
like
pinky ring.
Yeah, your lower fingers. Whereas before, he's getting a good solid, like, poof.
Yeah.
Right? And you can see it early on, when he does punch those free kicks clear, they... You know, sometimes a goalkeeper like parries a free kick and then can land in front of a striker. What he's doing is punching it high and clear. Like, he goes out for throw-ins, it goes out into the stands, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely safe, right?
Yeah.
So it's a thing that is 90% of the time seems like the safest option. Turned out to be kind of a dumb option. But I understand why he's in the habit of doing it.
I think he's been told, don't catch the ball. And I think that's why there's
Isn't just a Navas thing. I think this is how he saves free kicks.
Maybe. But it's just that momentary delay to me is what's confusing. Because it seems almost like he's like, oh, I should catch this, but I'm not supposed to. So I'm going to punch it instead. But it's not going to work. And it's a testament to how it didn't work that Varane for a half second reacts as like, oh no, I scored an own goal. And then is like, wait, no, this is absolutely your fault. And Keylor Navas immediately like puts his hand up and is like, yep, my bad. It's definitely me. I apologize.
Varane should teach lectures in sort of not taking the blame.
Indeed. So
it's like a business seminar where it's called "It's Not Your Fault."
Yes, I like that. Yeah, he could do that one. I think it'd have to be in Spanish, but otherwise, sure, or French. I forget. I think he's French. Yeah,
he can speak both.
There we go. So 1-1 again, 0 assists. Let's get to 2-1 again with 0 assists.
Who scores this goal? I've forgotten.
You've forgotten?
Yeah.
It is Rafael Varane off of a set piece, and again, there's some clever things at play here for Madrid.
Oh, so this is the short corner. Okay, it's all come flooding back to me now. So we noticed Borussia Dortmund zonal marking on set pieces. I love it. I think it works when you attack the ball. It doesn't work, and we saw this with maybe Chelsea not long ago against Liverpool, I believe. It doesn't work if the other team takes it short. They take the set piece short, as Real Madrid take this corner kick short. I think it's Ronaldo and I think it's Modric over in the corner. And then once you take it short, you change the angle of where the ball's coming in. And that zonal marking thing, everybody's kind of confused.
Yep.
And then you can get sort of Benzema and Ramos drifting away at that back post unmarked.
Right.
And they're even they're so unmarked that they get in each other's way because they're both going for it. I think Ramos picks up a bit of an injury.
Yeah, he does. I think they both end up on the ground in a little bit of pain. And it's Benzema who actually hits the ball. Hits it, I believe, off the post and off the crossbar and maybe off of the goalkeeper whose name we couldn't remember. Berkey.
Yeah.
Berkey. Yeah, and basically... looks like it's going to be a goal, but it's not. But then Varane is there to tap it home. Yeah, exactly.
He's like, I've had a bad day. I'm going to make sure to finish this.
And it is definitely the short corner. And it is worth noting that this is something that it looks like Zinedine Zidane or whomever was in charge of set pieces figured out. Because not moments before, Madrid have a corner kick and they choose to just kind of play the ball in the way you normally would a corner, and it's headed clear. And I can't think that it's coincidence that the very next play, Like, they get that ball, down and kind of in that arc, like just barely in the arc for the corner,
it's taken
immediately.
Yeah.
And so I think it is sort of like, okay, well, they're defending in a zone. This is how we're going to break them, and we're going to make them scramble. And as you said, the point of the zone is to attack the ball, and that is clearly not what Dortmund are doing when that ball comes in. They're all very much reacting to it.
Ginter doesn't jump.
Yep.
Ginter does not jump. He just sort of lets it go over his head, because I think he's just confused and scrambling. I really think that's all there is to it.
Yep. Yeah. And instead, Madrid players are reacting. Maybe Ramos gets a foot to it and scores directly from the cross in, but instead Benzema's there, and instead it ends up being a Varane goal, and thus still no assists.
So there's 20-something minutes to go at this point. Borussia Dortmund are losing 2-1 to their main rivals in this Champions League group, and they sort of take it to them. But to me, Real Madrid is still doing a good job.
Yeah.
They're sort of sometimes pressing high, making it hard for Borussia Dortmund, and sometimes they're sort of getting men behind the ball. Ronaldo's doing a great job, Bale's doing a great job of coming back, doing defensive work. Modric and Kroos are absolutely holding it down in defensive midfield. It's a really impressive performance from those two.
That's really impressive. I think the thing that I thought was the most interesting was that we've talked before about how Dortmund, with those wingers, whether it be Christian Pulisic or Dembele or Moore or whomever else is out there, they stand on either touchline.
Oh, yeah, one wide left, one wide right, and then it's up to the opposition to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. So basically you spread as much as you can, and time again we'd see the left midfielder get the ball and look to play that long crossfield ball, and there'd be one attacker who's dropped back in between the outside back and that outside midfielder.
Yeah.
And so basically there's no way you can play that long ball because it's going to get picked off every time, and one player cuts out two options, and all of a sudden you have to play in this one space where Madrid have the numbers. It's really good tactical maneuvering by Zinedine Zidane.
I would say that's the cleverest thing that Real Madrid did, was to cut out that crossfield ball, because Borussia Dortmund never really managed to do it, right?
It's true.
The one guy that was going down the wing from the right was Ousmane Dembele, part of the Total Soccer Show scouting network, coming in from the right with his left foot, which is a little odd, right? And it seems like the first time I watched this game, I was thinking, that's kind of successful, because I remember him sort of cutting inside on Danilo a few times.
You remember that one move where he does the step over flick?
Yeah, I mean, that was
beautiful.
a thing of beauty, right? But especially in the second half, when Dortmund are chasing this game, it's not very effective, right? I kept seeing Dembele try to cut inside and either overrun the ball or get tackled or couldn't find a pass.
To the extent that the best opportunity he had came when he shot with his right foot, because I think they had figured out, just let him be on his left, just take away his left foot and he's not going to be able to do anything.
Right.
And so then he's like, okay, I guess I'll try with my right foot, and he does almost put it on frame in that point. But still a shot off target.
The talk among the Madrid defenders was it's like Arjen Robben, but not as good.
Yet.
Not yet, right.
Yes.
So, but what happens is, eventually, Ousmane Dembele gets replaced by Christian Pulisic. And thank you to Wendy Thomas for sending us the tweet that Borussia Dortmund's official Twitter account put out. When Pulisic comes on, they tweet out a Captain America gif.
It's him saluting.
Chris Evans.
Yeah. Chris Evans saluting. And maybe there'll be more positive American images because of what Christian Pulisic does.
Yeah, so he manages to, he gets out on that right wing, receives the ball a couple of times. The one time there's a beautiful ball at the back, I can't remember who it is, and he sort of accelerates away down the right, gets a shot that goes low, and is saved by Keylor Navas with his palms this time, not with his fists. Andrea Schürrle not happy with him, but we rewatched this, right?
Yeah.
There was no way he could have squared that ball.
Nothing to be done about that. I mean, basically, because of the touch he takes to try to create some distance from Varane, by the time he picks his head up, sees that he's got Schürrle kind of there, I think he gauges that by the time he then gets to the ball, he's not going to be able to play that ball across.
Varane's too good, right? Varane's blocking that.
Varane will be there, or Schürrle will have overrun, and then he'll be in the box, and there's a chance that Navas comes out and just cuts it off cleanly. And I think he really does go through that entire thought process in maybe a quarter second, and then just shoots.
It's impressive to see.
And it's a decent shot. It's on frame, so at least he's got that over Dembele. But then he has more over Dembele, because not 4 minutes later, in the 87th minute, Andrea Schürrle scores a goal. Again, this is where we go to the kind of assist for Christian Pulisic.
All right, let's switch to Christian Cam. So Pulisic receives this, or Pulisic, as the announcer was pronouncing it. I want to give him some credit, right? This guy's, I know it's on Fox Sports 1. I think it was Peter Drury. It might have been Jonathan Pierce. He's not American, so I don't think he's fully conscious of the American audience broadcast, because this thing's going around the world, and also in Britain, where they don't care as much. Also, when we saw the team sheet at the start, they had heavily accented this in a non-Pennsylvania way. It was more Croatia than it was Hershey, right?
It was. Almost as though people were like, that's probably Croatian. Just make him Croatian. It's okay.
So I think you're just pronouncing it that way. All right, but we've got to talk about this move for Pulisic to basically put Danilo on the floor, get past him, and then cross it in. Should we start with the move?
Sure.
All right, so he receives it. If you watch this in fast motion, it looks like Danilo just basically is off balance and falls over. When we slowed this down, what happens is Pulisic has 3 touches really close together. He goes right, left, right, and then he accelerates. He does that thing we talked about so many times, that Pulisic sort of, where did that speed come from? Hit the nitros acceleration. Danilo lunges to try and get like a last-ditch slide tackle in, a last-ditch block, but Pulisic is just, I want to say, how far is that?
Maybe like 5 inches.
5 inches too fast for him.
Too easy to say 6 inches.
Yeah, I measure speed and distance when I'm talking Christian Pulisic. And then so Danilo's down, Pulisic is away. And you were thinking that maybe also there's a thing of Danilo trying to show Pulisic outside, but Pulisic taking the inside anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think basically just because of the way he receives that ball, the angle it comes in, it makes sense that if you're the winger standing on the touchline, that you're just going to kind of touch it down the line, try to get in, try to get that desperation cross. And I think that's what Danilo approaches the ball. Is like, I'm going to cut away that channel, so if he turns, he's going to turn right into me, and he's probably going to have to go back with the ball. Not anticipating that the youngster will take 2 touches and then a third and then be away. And that's exactly what he does.
And then there's the cross, right? So he basically chips it in. First of all, kudos for the cross, right? Because normally he is looking for that low ball like we talked about.
It's a nice little chip.
It is a nice little chip. Well, is it though? Because it doesn't reach its intended target, which I believe is Aubameyang,
who tries to bicycle it,
Which means that Pulisic kind of put it behind him, right? But instead there's a defender. I can't remember if it's Varane or Danilo. It's not Danilo, right?
Who chests it clear?
Yeah.
It's Carvajal.
Carvajal, okay. Carvajal jumps and essentially just manages to get his body to it, and I think is a little wary of Aubameyang's high foot, which may be coming for him.
Maybe he's aware of that, like, if that goes even slightly wrong, it is at Borussia Dortmund late in the game. There were some questionable handball calls that weren't given earlier, so maybe you just have that little bit of a fear that, like, oh, if I get one elbow to it, that's going to be a penalty. So I'm just going to put my elbows out and try to chest it clear. And because he does that...
Ronaldo's getting away with some big handballs.
That's what I'm saying, but I wonder if maybe he just thought, like, I can't risk this, so I'm not... And so because of that, he kind of, like, sticks the chest out and lets the ball hit him rather than hits the ball with his chest. And so he doesn't make that contact.
It drops to Schürrle, who, just 2 minutes before was limping around. He manages to sort of limp to the ball and then smash it. That is a professional top-level finish from Andreas Schürrle. Top left corner, and then the big celebration. And who's there to celebrate with him?
Christian Pulisic. First man there for the hug.
You have got me watching celebrations like never before. I'm always checking who's there now.
Because everybody else is kind of not sure what to do, and he is making a beeline for Andreas Schürrle. So, yeah.
Is he just camera aware?
No, I think he's just excited. I think that you see the genuine emotion of, hey, I just did something good when I subbed on in a Champions League game. That's probably going to pay off for me. It means I probably don't have to go to Stoke anytime soon.
They could use him.
That's true.
So 2-2. We're excited about Pulisic's involvement. I sort of want to say this is a good result for everybody involved. Dortmund didn't want to lose at home to Real Madrid. Dortmund stay top, courtesy of having the big win over Legia Warsaw, because they didn't have Michael Pazdan. Let's be clear about it. So don't lose to Real Madrid. But Real Madrid get an away point without Casemiro, without Marcelo, against probably the toughest opponent in the group. I think it's kind of honours even all round, and a pretty entertaining game of soccer.
Absolutely.
All right. Taylor, we have a sponsor. Changing gears.
Who are they, Mr.
We have a sponsor on today's show. It is Mac Weldon. Here's the challenge I've set for you.
Yes.
It was very recently Christian Pulisic's birthday. The young man turned 18. It's not too late to get him a birthday present. If we were going to get him a present from Mac Weldon, the apparel company that is redesigning men's basics, making them better, what would you get him?
Okay, I don't want him getting too cocky, but I think he can have a little swagger at this point. So what I want is, number one, I want to get him an oversized hoodie. They do have the lovely hoodies, which I'm very excited to wear come fall, winter.
What do you mean oversized? Like one size up from what he normally gets?
Yeah, because I want him wearing it when he subs on. So I want like the hood down so you can't really see him, and it's kind of like the boxers unveiling when they take the gown off, the robe off, and definitely not a gown, a robe off, and they're ready to go. Like that's what I want from him. I want the hoodie off, unzipped, throws it behind him, and then on he goes. I want that.
Oh, okay, we'll take it in turns then, because I've also got a hoodie, and I'm saying he needs a hoodie because he's starting to get pretty famous. So he needs it for sort of... I'm accidentally wearing a hoodie here.
Yeah.
He needs it for just maybe a bit of anonymity. Just to, like when Mr. Robot does it, sort of to stop anyone seeing him.
There you go.
He needs it for that reason.
All right. I like that. And then I like the idea that he should buy, or somebody should get him a couple of different pairs of underwear that he could then use as gifts to give out to defenders with the idea of like, hey, You might need these when I'm done with you.
So Christian Pulisic would then be re-gifting the Mack Weldon Silverline underwear, antimicrobial, to defenders he's just put on the floor like Danilo.
Exactly. Pick yourself up and clean yourself off. Here's some underwear for you.
That's my favourite one. The other one I have, which is not as good, but I'm going to say it anyway, he's going to get one of the new Mack Weldon long sleeve T-shirts because Germany is about to get cold for the winter.
Also a fair point. I feel like we're both kind of excited for the cold weather is what I'm getting, because you've gone long sleeve and hoodie and I've gone hoodie specifically for cold weather.
Well, it's the first day in the office that we haven't had the air conditioning on.
Oh,
you notice that?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Still hot, but a little better.
So once again, thank you to Mack Weldon for sponsoring today's show. Mack Weldon is better than what you're wearing right now, unless you're wearing Mack Weldon already. If you want to be wearing Mack Weldon, you can use coupon code TSS, 3 letters for Total Soccer Show, TSS, at mackweldon.com, and you'll get 20% off your first order. Taylor, how do we spell Mack Weldon?
You spell it MackWeldon.com.
Oh, no.
mackweldon.com.
I'm sure people can work that out.
I'm pretty sure they can.
There will also be a link in the show notes. If you want to support Total Soccer Show, then you can shop at mackweldon.com, promo code TSS.
I like it.
You know who else might need a little bit of retail therapy? Mr. Samuel.
Or discount codes, since he doesn't have that income that he thought he was going to have.
I think he's okay financially. Mr. Big Sam Allardyce. So you probably caught Emergency Pod where we reacted to the news.
Did, yes.
You were on it. We reacted to the news that Sam Allardyce was in all sorts of trouble. All the details of that are on the previous episode. If you go back, it's 30 minutes. We go deep on this this Telegraph expose. The news today, maybe a couple hours before we started recording, is that they have officially, the FA and Sam Allardyce have officially parted ways.
And from what I understand, I mean, there's lots to unpack here, which, we don't really have time for on the show. And plus, I think there's lots still to come with this story. I'll say that it's been reported that he was fired. It's been reported that he resigned, and it's been reported that there was, parting ways by mutual consent. And I think that last one is most likely. But what I think that's
the official version.
Right, and the speculation there was that he offered his resignation, and they're like, no, we're firing you, but we're not paying you any termination. So you can say that we're parting by mutual consent, and then we're not doing any sort of payout for you.
My understanding also from what I read was that he'd said he understood that it reflected poorly on the FA and he'd acted poorly, but there was nothing that was actual corruption or nothing terrible. But it seems to be this thing of, this is not good enough to represent England, this is not good enough for the FA, so you're going to have to go. It seems like they've just come to a mutual, essentially they have come to a mutual agreement where he's both resigned and fired at the same time.
Well, thank goodness, as somebody pointed out on Twitter, that England hired the practical manager.
I mean, what's more practical than figuring out ways around rules, right?
Well, I'll tell you some things that, while we're talking about Sam Allardyce, are worth noting. Sam Allardyce was employed for a short amount of time as England manager. Then the Chilean miners were trapped underground. They were trapped 2 days longer than Sam Allardyce. Kim Kardashian was married 5 days longer to Chris Humphries than Sam Allardyce was England manager.
I don't like this segment of the show. Is there more?
That's it. Those are the two I have for you now. I'm sure I can find many, many more to just go through whenever I want to make you a little bit sad.
So it was 67 days Sam Allardyce was in charge. 1 game, 1 win. 1 goal scored, 0 goals conceded.
100%.
It's got that going for him. Can I just say, I'm still a little... I said last night that I felt very icky about this, but I wouldn't go as far as you when you said he should definitely go. I'm really sad about this. Not only because the type of manager Allardyce is in terms of how he handles teams is kind of the guy that I thought England needed. There was that great start. There was the fact that he's from my area. He's from Dudley, from the Black Country. It's a huge blow to me because now this dream I had of Sam Allardyce leading the England team to glory is not going to happen.
Well, you can always wait until Ashley Williams retires and becomes a coach. He's from Wolverhampton, right?
Yeah, but he spent a long time playing for the Welsh national team.
Yeah, that's probably not going to work so well.
So the new coach is Gareth Southgate. For the next 4 games, the FA have confirmed, it's going to be Gareth Southgate will step up from his under-21 duties to coach the senior England national team. And so the thing of who's going to be the next permanent England manager is going to roll on and on and on and on. I'll tell you what's going to happen as well. England are probably going to smash Malta at Wembley, and people will start talking about how maybe Gareth Southgate should get the job full-time. And then that's going to be a whole boring conversation that we all have to have.
You sound super excited to have that.
Well, I really just thought this England thing is solved, at least for the next couple of years, and now it's not.
Yeah, I think Big Sam thought that too. too, but Big Sam also thought, I could do with £400,000.
I need some emotional support from my friend here about this whole Sam Allardyce thing.
I'm just saying, don't, accept cash payments. I mean, admittedly for speaking engagements that you thought were above board, but at the same time admitted that you thought maybe also weren't above board. So, who knows? Who knows there? But I am sad because I know it's more instability. It's more sort of, like I saw one person on Twitter, I think, say like, I didn't think you could get lower than Iceland. And then the FA said, no, my friend. It can get worse. So it'll get better. Don't worry. Eventually it will get better somehow, I'm sure.
I believe you.
It can definitely get better right now because we're moving on to the Total Soccer Show Scouting Network.
Let's move on.
Happy news about happy youngsters. First one coming in from Olaf Danelius, who's scouting Erdal Rakip, the 20-year-old Swedish midfielder from Malmo. He came on in the 74th minute against Elfsborg and scored a late winner to secure 3 crucial points and keep Malmo at the top of the table.
All right, that's starting to cheer me up. Next up, DJ Ringis.
I know this one will make you happy.
DJ Ringis is scouting Levi Garcia,
there you go.
the Trinidadian winger who plays for AZ in the Netherlands. Okay. DJ says, young Levi Garcia has been getting a steady stream of minutes for AZ Alkmaar. He's played 5 games, started 1 and scored 1 goal. All right, I'm a little happier, but I'm still not over this Allardyce thing.
DJ Ringus also sent us a highlight reel of like all of his games so far. There's lots of moves, there's lots of tricks, there's lots of physical challenges. So all around decent players so far.
Oh, remember, we're probably going to have to face this kid in the Hex. The
I'm not looking forward to it.
Face this kid in the Hex.
Yeah, DJ also reported that he's keeping a track on dual nationals for Trinidad and that they've already gotten 2 to commit, I think 3 to commit. So could be a stronger team when the U.S. faces them. We shall see. Ryan Marzak scouting Pione Sisto. The young Danish midfielder continues to impress for Celta Vigo. He assisted on his side's first goal in a 2-1 midweek victory over Sporting Gijón and then put away the weekend game against Espanyol with a great coast-to-coast run, capped off by a class finish to nab his first La Liga goal and secure a 2-0 win.
All right, go Sisto. Mm-hmm. So it's coast-to-coast like one end to the other, basically.
Yes.
All right.
And I wanted to watch the video.
That's a basketball reference, isn't it?
It was. Coast, and Ryan sent us a video, which has since been removed from YouTube. So no highlights for me there.
Okay, up next, Scott Friedman is scouting Emre Mor.
And this is a fascinating one.
Okay. So Mor is the young Turkish winger signed in the summer to play for Borussia Dortmund. Kind of competition for Christian Pulisic. Yep. Scott says, Moore looked good in Dortmund's 3-1 win over Freiburg on Friday. An interesting point Scott read regarding Tuchel's approach with the youngster. Fittingly, the 43-year-old was captured giving Moore instructions time and time again during the first half, and it wouldn't be a surprise if Moore's move to the left wing after the intermission was down to the proximity to his coach on the touchline as well. Meaning that Thomas Tuchel manoeuvres his young wingers around to have one of them close to him so he can talk to them.
Exactly. So if they need specific instructions maybe against a specific opponent, he wants that player close to him so he can keep giving them information.
Interesting.
Which means he's okay with switching sides. Which means that if you're subbing on Christian Pulisic on the far side of the field, maybe that means he's got faith in the youngster.
Which is what he did against Real Madrid, right? Yep. So Tuchel's on the left, Pulisic was all the way out on the right, and I'm assuming he just said, hey, go do whatever you want, kid. And it worked out just fine.
Just fine indeed.
Emre Moore played in this game as well, by the way.
He did.
He came on and played sort of more central and did quite well.
Had a shot. Good movement, good possession.
Yeah.
A threat, we shall see.
I want to say Ousmane Dembele is now at the bottom of the pecking order of the 3 19-year-old wingers.
I doubt it, but we shall see. Michael Berry scouting Giannis Hadji, the 17-year-old son of Georgi Hadji, the Romanian legend. Giannis made the bench for Fiorentina's scoreless draw on Sunday against AC Milan, but did not see the field. He did, however, score...
Did he have his eyes closed?
Yes, he didn't see the whole thing. He did, however, score from a free kick against Spezia for Fiorentina's Primavera squad. Michael hopes Hadji will be given his debut soon, as La Viola's creative options in the middle of the park are sorely lacking at the moment. I can confirm that. I watched this game.
Oh, did you?
It was not that interesting. I saw a few different people say, like, as far as 0-0 draws go, this one was pretty captivating. And it was one of those, like, I think Italian captivating ones where it's like, oh, he moved here, and that negated this. But then they moved that guy there to negate that. And it was not so exciting. Plus,
did it need some 17-year-old son of Georgi Hadji in there?
It needed a forward for AC Milan who could like do more than dribble straight into the opposition, because that's pretty much what Niang did the entire game.
That can be fun too.
Yeah.
All right, so those are 5 reports from the TSS Scouting Network today. If you would like to support the Total Soccer Show, get more midnight emergency pods about Sam Allardyce and sort of almost immediate post-game recaps of Champions League games, you can do so at totalsoccershow.com/subscribe, where you can financially support the show at the level of your choosing. When you do so, we give you a young player to scout. You let us know what's going on with that player. We include those reports on the Total Soccer Show Scouting Network. Taylor's given me a look that says it's time to go coaching. So, Taylor Rockwell, thank you for taking the time to talk to me today.
Right back at you, buddy.
Listeners, thank you for listening. We will be back on Wednesday afternoon with another Champions League recap.